they decided on a course of brute force and machinery.
Ow, stop, don't hit that. Yeah, we're putting a nut on that before we give it a beating. On the way out, which I'm not very happy about doing. So it looks like we're going to attack it with a gas axe and cut it into sections and pull it out that way.
This is the Railway Mad YouTube channel where we restore, maintain and operate steam locomotives. We aim to give you new episodes every other Sunday. We are on the road. We are travelling down to the Southern Locomotive Works down on the lovely Swanage Railway in Dorset, close to Corfe Castle. And we are going there to carry out some work on 34028 named Eddystone. It's a West Country class light Pacific. Let's see how we get on. The tender has already left the Southern Locomotive Works, having received some new wheel sets, vacuum cylinder, brake blocks. It has a radio communication system installed in it as well, so the crew can communicate with the signal box. It has new reservoirs fitted and covered on the back of the tender, and to enable the locomotive to get a drink every now and again on the main line, we have fitted some low-level water fillers to the tender. On the 28th, 29th and 30th of March, the Swanage Railway are holding their Spring Steam Gala, and you can pop along there to Corfe Castle Station where Southern Locomotives Limited will have their stand. Why not ask us about your favourite one of our steam locomotives and maybe even getting a footplate ride on it. You can purchase our desktop pen holders made from boiler parts from one of our locomotives at the special gala price. You can help save our steam heritage by becoming a shareholder in Southern Locomotives Limited. So pop along and talk to us at the Swanage Spring Steam Gala on the 28th, 29th and 30th of March. Okay, let's return back to the workshop and have a look at the rear of Eddystone and check out some of the extra work that's been going on. There has been a lot of work going on in fitting the conduits along with various pipes and systems to get this locomotive onto the main line again, as there are a number of extra systems that have to be installed in these locos, because this loco last ran on the main line approximately 60 years ago, so quite a bit has changed since then. Beautifully installed underneath the footplate of Eddystone are the new air components for the braking system. Great job guys, that's looking good. Let's now look up onto the footplate. You can see the firebox doors are open. There's still quite a bit of work to do in here, but it's coming along well. Some of our Eastern volunteers have gone west to give the Southern heroes a hand to get this loco ready. It really is nice to have the pleasure of working underneath a roof, because this certainly keeps the weather out. And having a nice concrete floor to tread on is very nice as well. It certainly beats treading on mud and gravel. Okay, let's move a few things about and climb up and get to work. The smoke box door is already open, so we just climb up using these lovely steps and onto the buffers and into the smoke box. Directly in front of us, you see there, poking out of the front tube plate, are the superheater elements that we are here to remove. You see we've got some nuts there that we've got to loosen up, but we're going to have a quick look around so we know where we are. So we're directly underneath the chimney at this present time, and underneath our feet are the blast pipes. Thankfully, the chimney's petticoat and lower chimney have been removed already, so all we have is the upper part of the chimney. We can see directly the roof there. The chimney's been scraped clean of most of its loose muck there as we look back across the length of the loco towards the cab, and you can see the inside of the Southern Locomotive Works. Back down inside the chimney again, and we look over the front of the loco here. You can see the smoke deflectors to the left and to the right, and the smoke box door is open. Alan with 1L here is using a mixture of oxygen and propane to heat up the retaining nuts here. Those of you who have watched some of the other videos on the Railway Mad YouTube channel may have seen a similar video to this already put out, which was called Scrap or Save, where we go into this job a lot more detail, but that was actually filmed on a different locomotive to this one.
That covers up the blast pipe. Well, it's an extra cover. You don't need it, but it's handy to have.
Keep falling off
Yeah.
as long as you don't fall down the hole.
You ready then?
Yep.
Yep.
We have to heat up each nut in turn and loosen it up, and then move on to the next one, and then once the whole line is loose, we then start the removal process. These fixings are incredibly tight. The nut has to be heated up till it's cherry red there, and then it requires 3 of us and an extended bar to be able to provide enough power to get these loosened up. Due to copyright issues, we have to temporarily mute some of the clips on this video just to make sure that YouTube can send these videos out to you. That is due to music being played in the background whilst we're working, and YouTube doesn't like that. Once these nuts finally crack and begin to turn like that, we then start attacking it with the impact gun, which is a 3/4 inch drive battery Milwaukee unit that does quite a good job. And then once the nuts and the bolt is out, we begin pulling out the elements from the flues. The honour of pulling the first elements out of the flues passes to our 88-year-old Battle of Britain veteran, Alan. Alan with 1L. You see him there just rotating it. That helps break the seal between the elements and the flue, and then he just slowly pulls it forward and out of the flue. These things are pretty long, as you'll find out in a minute, but it only goes so far as hitting this steam pipe. After some gentle encouragement, the element comes out and is passed on to our fellow volunteers down here, which are on the floor. At this point, the job's not too difficult. It's just a question of passing the thing down into the hands of the guys, and then they begin carrying it off to where we're going to store it, which is temporarily outside. None of these elements actually failed whilst in service, but we are just changing them just to make sure that we got a new set for when this loco hits the rails and begins its rail tours this year. There are 4 rows. This is the first row, which is the lower one. And once all of that first row is out, we then began heating and undoing the nuts of the next row. And then the process begins again. So we have 4 rows of these, and there are 6 elements in each row. So it does get a little bit on the repetitive side. So we're not going to bore you with everything. Alan with 1L cracks on and continues pulling out these elements one by one.
There's just no stopping this guy.
We then continue with row 2.
You ready, boys? Good job, one more go. Gun.
This is the 3/4 inch drive Milwaukee impact gun that we are using, which has proved to be pretty invaluable for this kind of work. It's not too heavy, you can just lift it up and place it onto the nut. Here we have young Harry demonstrating it.
That's it.
The nut drops away from the bracket, leaving the bolt that is actually seized in the bracket, which turns out to be a problem that we have to rectify a little bit later. But never mind, we get to that soon. Moving on to the next one. After some tea and biscuits, we return to the fold and have a bit of a change around on personnel. Then do the same thing again there. And then once that is loose, we crack on and do another one. Heating, loosening up, removing the nut, loosening up the seal between the superheater and the header, and then cracking on and do another one. As you can see, it's red hot, so everything's getting a little bit warm in there at this point.
Good job.
Emma, you're going to have to do the last two, 'cause I'm not going to be able to remember.
That is solid, isn't it? Ouch. I didn't want to pick up a hot bolt or nut there. Right. Was that top left? Right. That's the one we've got to try and get out past that steam pipe.
That one.
You need a bigger hammer on that, Al.
Yeah, but you need bigger muscles to work it, don't you?
You do indeed, mate. Right.
88 years old, and he can still lift up a hammer above his head while sitting in a smoke box of a steam loco. Not bad at all.
Two stubborn ones to sort out. If we pull out,
Put the fry bar on it.
we'll pull out the ones we got loose already,
Okay.
and then we'll go back and do those. I think.
We'll have a bit more room.
Yeah, at least we got the. Mind you, we've got that last one there. Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so extract the ones we can at the moment, and then we'll go back and give a bit more attention to those others. Ow, stop, don't hit that. Yeah, we put a nut on that before we give it a beating. Alright, hold your horses. Ow.
Yeah.
Save your energy.
Save it.
Shit, save your energy for a minute, we need a bigger hammer on
I
that.
haven't got any more energy to save.
What's that?
It's all gone.
Right, we'll extract the ones we've got ready. We get those out first, then I'll jump in here and start giving it beating.
You've got the tri-bar on the top of them make work.
Yeah, we need to put. We do what we did before with the others. I'll give it a beating with a sledge, and we'll get you to. I'll give it a beating with a sledge while you give it a pry with the big bar.
You said you was going to give me a bigger sledge.
It's not winter yet, mate.
The guys are waiting for myself and Alan to return to the smoke box to get these last elements out, because it is proving to be a real problem. Where the bolts are seasoned to the brackets, it does require a good beating with a sledgehammer along with a pry bar to release these bolts. And then eventually, one by one, they do break loose and we begin to pull them out. Meanwhile, while all this action is going on, we have another team of guys working away on the nuts and bolts. We are reconditioning those so they can be reused because they are not damaged, unlike the previous ones that came out of Sir Keith Park, which were failing. They were a little bit wasted, so they couldn't be used again. These ones seem perfectly fine, so they are having the threads recut on them, and the nuts are having a tap ran down them just to clean up the threads, and they're then oiled up, checks, and put to one side, ready to go again. These last few elements are proving to be a bit troublesome regarding pulling them out, so we are attaching some lengths of rope onto them so the team down there on the floor can then assist us in giving them a pull out. This is a tug-of-war, Eddystone versus the Southern Locomotives Volunteers. And now we move on to another tug-of-war on another element. Brian is removing the rope from the element so the guys can then carry it outside without dragging the rope along underneath their feet. We continue this till there is just one left. Having done this job before, we knew this last one was going to be a major problem. We're pretty much done, but we have one more element that we just can't seem to get out. It's very, very difficult. I think what we're going to have to do is either pull it out using the forklift. That will mean possibly gouging some of the steam pipes on the way out, which I'm not very happy about doing. So it looks like we're going to attack it with a gas axe and cut it into sections and pull it out that way. And we'll leave the guys down here to figure out how to get the new one back in past these steam pipes. So if we climb up on top of the loco and show you what the problem is. We look up in that top corner at the end of the rope where we're trying to pull past. We have this front steam pipe here, which I think probably goes down to that right cylinder. And this pipe on the left, just behind it, looks like it probably goes down to the centre cylinder. And we'll get some light in there. Here we are. This is the last of the elements. All the others, as you can see, we removed from the flues just above. See the superheater header, all the ports there, the slots where the T-bolts attach, which clamp everything down, but we can't get this last element past this steam pipe here. So what we're planning to do, if I'm climbing just up there, is I think we're going to gas axe it through here, cut it back here, lose this section, throw that out, then pull the rest, pull it out again, cut off another 2.5 foot, and then just keep doing that until the whole thing's out. Just because of this steam pipe here is in the way, which we knew this was going to be a problem, big problem, and that we may not be able to remove this. But we managed to get the opposing one out, which is this top right hand corner, this one here. We knew that was going to be a problem because of this steam pipe here, but because it's further away, we could just bend it out as we pulled it. There's I think it's about 6 of us pulling on that. Managed to get that out, but this other one that's stuck, we have the extra steam pipe, which is closer. Instead of it being 6 foot away, it's 3 foot away, and we just can't bend this pipe enough because it just keeps wedging itself inside that flue. So we are going to have to cut it. After consulting our full-time members of staff, they decided on a course of brute force and machinery. Here we see Bailey inside the smoke box using a pry bar just to try and steer that last element around that steam pipe, while the forklift pulls the element out using the strop. That is tight. Once all the elements had been removed from the smoke box, myself and Brian decided that it was going to be us that was going to regrind the seats to the ports.
How's that?
You can watch us in another video called Hurston We Have a Problem. You can see us install a set of these superheater elements into one of our other Bulleid Light Pacifics. Take a look at this grubby bunch of gremlins. Click on the left-hand rectangle to watch us refit some of these superheater elements into our locomotive called 257 Squadron. Or you can click on the right-hand rectangle to watch our last video, or you can click on the center circle and subscribe to our free-to-watch channel.